Yeah, so I'm Bob with Visionary Light Shows, and today we're going to be running the lyric track class. Thanks everyone for joining. Trust everyone's been having a good day at all the other classes, and hopefully learning a lot. And that's our intent here is to take you through the whole world of lyric tracks from start to finish, and hopefully you walk away with something from this. Couple things as we get started. Any questions, please? There's a little icon at the bottom to raise your hand to ask a question, or you can type it in the little chat box. If not, we're going to hold all the questions until the end of the presentation. Um, so some quick early tips and tricks. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. So today we're going to dive into. Can everybody see my screen?
No, we only see you.
Maybe I should share. There we go. Now everyone can see my screen,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Okay, so some early things for as we dive into the world of lyric tracks is a couple of tricks that I like to use is headphones are very helpful when you're really trying to dial in exactly where words start and end and where to get things positioned. We like to sequence at the minimum with lyrics 40 frames per second. We usually sequence at 50. But the more you break it down, the more you can really fine tune where those different lyrics start and end. And that number three, Bluetooth is a no-no. Sure, I'm not the first one to say that, but there's always a latency inherent with using Bluetooth. So please have hardwired speakers or hardwired headphones when sequencing in general, and especially if you're doing lyric tracks. And there is no right or wrong way to do X lights. There is no wrong way to do the holiday lighting. There's many different ways to do different things. It's just the way that we like to do it. That's found us to be that gives us success to do it. And if you can take from that, great. If there's different ways to do it, that's awesome too. So, what is a lyric track? Dive in there. So basically, a lyric track is simply how we get the singing props you see in many people, many folks' shows, how to sing along with the music by basically manipulating the mouths on the various props, which is not all that dissimilar to basic animation. How we do that is we make a lyric track. Okay, when we make a lyric track, what exactly are we doing? Well, basically, you're breaking down the lyrics of a song into phrases, then into words, then into phonemes. And you're asking, what the heck is a phoneme? Phoneme is basically or often referred to as a mouth shape in standard in animation, are just very specific positions that the mouth makes when you're actually pronouncing certain sounds in speech. And then X lights has certain specific positions of the mouth that we will turn on and off when a certain phoneme is actually active. I have a little case. This is not clear to anyone. A phoneme is just simply you can see the different shapes by if you're making more of like an O sound, you have more of like the round shape. If you have an L, you have kind of the longer elongated mouth. So that's how we're actually breaking down the words and the phrases into the phonemes to get X likes to say, okay, I want to have this kind of mouth, this kind of mouth shape here, this kind of mouth shape there, and that's what's going to generate the visual effect that your props are actually singing along to the words. So there's two methods typically to create a lyric track. One is you can simply create a timing track and you can manually position all of the phrases and then break it down to the words and the phonemes. Or there's also a website which is called Auto Lyrics, which is gaining extreme popularity, where you simply import your lyrics, you import the MP3 file, and within a couple minutes, it actually spits you back an X-Lights lyric track, and we'll go through that as well. I'm going to take you through the beginnings of making a lyric track. So you can see my screen. This is a fully completed song with lyric tracks and face effects all broken down to make your props saying. And for anyone new, I don't want you to be scared, nervous. This is actually very, very simple once you break it down. So we're going to go on a journey here, but we're going to make one all on our own. So I have a new screen here that we're going to bring on over. So the song we're going to be sequencing is called "Can't Hold Me Back" by Kyle Daniel. He's a new up and he's a new country music artist. So how we're going to do this is we're going to actually we're going to create the timing track ourselves. So the first thing you do is say, hey, I need to know the words. I need to know the lyrics. It's a very easy internet search. You find your lyrics and you want to, what I find helpful is to just open up Microsoft Word, Microsoft Notes, whatever it is, and just simply copy paste them right from the website into here. That allows you to physically copy and paste into Excellence. Little trick with this is when you copy paste, you never want to just have it as like a single paragraph with all the words just one after the other. And I'll show you why that's not a good thing when you're trying to import the lyrics into Xlights. It's good to break it down into different phrases and not just bring them all in at once. And there's a very good reason why you would do that. So I'm not sure if I can, if to tell me if you can hear the audio. If I hit play, can you hear can anyone else hear the audio?
No, we can't.
No? Okay. Hang on. As a setting, I gotta have apologies. Where is that? Share sound. Okay. Now can you hear the sound?
Yeah, we could hear it. It's
Yes,
really
it's
loud.
really loud.
Yeah, we could hear it, but it's really loud.
Not sure how I turn that down.
Okay.
Still really loud. Is that still really, really loud, Mark?
Yeah, it's kind of loud. I don't know how to change that in the.
If anyone knows how to turn down audio that's being played, go ahead and speak up quickly. I am not sure how to turn that down. Oh, okay. You may have to go without it then. Or else just turn down your speakers. I want to have the sound, but I'm not sure how to turn it down on your end or have it not so loud coming through. All right, so apologies if the sound's a little bit loud. So first thing we want to do is we want to find the areas where they are singing. And so the technique that we typically use at Visionary Live shows is we just manually create the timing track. So once you select here, we're going to just delete this. So we're just going to create, oh, that, 1 second. Sorry about that.
What if you turn the audio down in Xlights?
You try that, yeah. I just delete all my timing track. Where's that's the one I want. Okay. All right, I'm trying to find that right now. No. Let's see if that's second. 50 seconds. Push there. Okay. Get here. Audio. Quiet. Okay. Let's try this. Is that better for everyone?
It seems like it's a little quieter. I don't know how everybody.
Let's try it very quiet. Is that a little bit quieter?
Yeah.
That's better?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
There you go. Yeah,
All right,
perfect.
now we're cooking with diesel. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so first thing we do is we have a new timing grid here, or a new timing track. So we're going to simply map out the phrases. So what we typically do is we'll start playing it, and we're going to put a brand new timing mark whenever we hear a good portion to start a phrase of the song and basically end a phrase of the song. We're going to go ahead and start this off. We'll do this for a little bit of the song. Just kick off the section for the singing. About this. So there's the end of the phrase. We'll put another mark. One there. Put one right there. Maybe there. Wherever seems appropriate to break them apart. A little bit more here. One there. Take us to the end of the chorus. Then we'll stop it. Okay, so we just roughly mapped out where the different phrases are in the song. All right, so now what for you, Yvonne, you want to go to File, go to your Preferences, and on your Effects grid, there's a setting here which is called the double click mode. Make sure this is set into Edit Text because we're going to be putting in text into these different timing marks. So once you have that selected, you can simply double click in here. And this is for the first phrase. Now, remember when we broke down the lyrics and we pasted them in Notepad? This is where that's going to come in handy now. So I'm going to take this first sentence we had. I bet you never saw me see me again. Copy that. And I'm going to paste it right in there. Boom. So now that whole phrase is in this section. All right, this is the first half. And we'll take the second one. This is why it's easier to have it broken down into lines here. Is second one there, and so on. So this is how we start to build this. And this is the one of two ways to do it. This isn't the only way. I like to know the basics of how to do it before you learn the more advanced stuff. Do one more here, one more line, and then we'll get on with it. All right, so now we've got this section here. So we roughly have these two phrases. We'll focus here, roughly laid out where they go. These don't have to be perfect. This is just a quick way to just roughly position the phrases. All right. Then we start to get granular. So we take the first one, and you know where it starts. It ends right about there where we have it, but the second one was actually starting a little bit later. So we're going to pull him over a little bit. And that's about where he starts. It's good. We're just trying to roughly place these things. Yeah, because that one's pretty good. Bring him over a little bit. This is just to help us future position the words. All right, so we'll just take these two. So they're actually pretty close to where this phrase starts and ends, and pretty close to where this phrase here starts and ends. Now the nice thing is that we have the words or the phrases. Excuse me. Now we need to break down the words. Now we get granular with this. So you're going to right click up here in the word, and you're going to see breakdown a phrase. Now it's going to take that phrase and actually break down the words evenly distributed within the timing marks. That's why it's good to get these. You want to get them close. You don't have to be perfect yet. That's not the intention. Just get them close. You can basically dump down the words. Now here's where you get granular. This is where I always suggest at the minimum of 40 frames per second. We like to use 50 frames because then that gives you a lot better opportunity to fine-tooth place where these words start and end. There's a chat here. Oh, never mind. All right, so what I like to do here is I usually slow this down to half speed. And the technique that I like to use is when he's just saying word after word after word after word, is I will listen closely. This is where I like to use the headphones, and where I hear him just start to say the word, that's where I'll move the start of the start of the word in the timing track. It's as basic as I do it. So start here. Right around here, you start to say the word aisle. Just starting to say it. It's up on my end a little bit. And the same thing all the way through. You can just start to get to the end of the word aisle and getting on to bet, and having the timing marker, the progress bar helps you kind of position where the next one's pretty closely going to be starting. And there he's starting into the word you. So we're very close to where these words actually are. This is probably the most tedious part of lyric tracks as far as doing it this way, is just getting the words positioned where they have to go. Because if you get these pretty darn close to where they go, the rest of it's fairly straightforward. Few words. Now he's right about to say the word never, and this is just over and over. He's on the word thoughts. He's pretty close there. Not perfect, close. Yeah, I want to get through this one phrase. Right around C. We'll tweak these a little bit. Write the word me. About to get into the word again. Looks like it's about to end the word right here. Okay, so now we have the words. So you saw when we first started, they were all kind of evenly just spaced amongst that time in this section of the track, and we had to fine tune place them. So again, you get close on the first step. Now we're really honing those things where they go. So we just take one less pass, which is why I like to slow this down, is just make sure that each one looks pretty close to where it starts and stops. That one can actually start. That one actually start a little bit sooner. A little bit sooner. See, what I like to do is I like to pause it again as I proofread it, pause it again when I see where this progress bar is, and do I have them lined up where they should be. Yeah. Absolutely correct. Move back just a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty close right there. Pretty good. All right, now you're saying, hey, we just have words, but Bob was talking about phonemes before. What is that? That's where we get into the power of the software here. Is you're just going to right click on just any one of the words, and it's going to say breakdown word. Now it's going to be, oh, sorry, I can just click over here. You can either click on the word and right click and break down word, or you can click down here on level 2, and you can say break down words, and do it for the whole line. There it goes. So now this is where it has actually positioned all the phonemes, right? Of the different mouth positions that we talked about earlier. This is what Xlights now pulls in its own dictionary and has those things already pre-assigned. And if we have time, we'll go into the faces. Actually, no, we'll do it right now. So on your prop, though, you have predetermined faces on here, which has those different phonemes already. So for mouth position here, you can see the different positions of the mouth that have been lit up to generate that shape. And you can have more, you can have less. It all depends on the prop. Some props do have more mouth lines that you can add that you can light up. Some of them have got fewer. So that's why they only break it down so far. So those are the phonemes. And then so say, hey, this looks good, but we really have it right. Well, this is where you want to. I find it helpful. Again, not you have to. I find it helpful to then just drop in. Oops, sorry. I need to be on my lyric page. Drop in your singing face effect on there, and let's actually visually check it. It looks good on here, but it's got to look good out there. So you're going to select your timing track. You're going to select your timing track. I'm sorry. You're going to do singing face 1, new timing. So now everyone can see that we have a face that is down here singing it. So now this is where we proofread. Does the mouse move how we have everything placed here? So we'll do a real, again, I'd like to do it at half speed, because things get it's hard to tell if you really got it good if you play it back at full speed for trying to get this pretty dead on. So let's go have a look here. All right, so not too bad. Not too bad. A couple little things we have to tweak. So I see 2 little things. I thought the word never, you can see that he doesn't get to the second syllable, that never. You see how his mouth kind of lags a little bit? He's a little bit behind. Little bit behind. So this is where now you can actually manipulate the phonemes down here, the actual movements of the mouth. So we saw that he gets in that second syllable a little bit late. So he should be more, we're going to bring these in just a little bit and get that mouth to do that second syllable a little bit sooner. See, that looks better. There. So that's where you get into manipulation of the actual phonemes. This is more of the tedious tweaking part. Now, this is a good example where, hey, this looks pretty close. This is close. But say you have again, this process from getting the lyrics in there to breaking down the words, that's all good now. Now we have to make it seem, more realistic. And again, S-Lights then dumps in all the different phenomes. What if you have a word where he doesn't take the whole word, like he says a certain portion of the word sooner and just kind of drags on the second half. This word again is a prime example of that. If I just play this against how the model looks, you'll see it's going to be vastly different how it is imported versus how he's actually saying the word. You see that? So he did the second syllable sooner and kind of dragged out the second half of the word, but X-Lights has it centered in there. So we need to shift that back to align with the lyrics. So let's see where he does that. Right about there, he started doing it. So we see this kind of spacing in here, so we're going to keep that. So right about there, he's starting to do the second half of the syllable. So let's drag these things back. And let's try that again. That's much better. A bit closer. A little bit closer. That's much better. So that whole thing, I think. That's not bad. That's pretty close. Now we have it. If it looks good at half speed, chances are once you do full speed, it's going to look really good. So let's give that a shot. There you go. So that's not bad at all. So that's basically the science behind when you're making a lyric track, just a basic lyric track. It's just that repetitive getting down your phrases. You're finding all your phrases throughout your whole song. Then you're gonna copy paste all of your lyrics in there, one phrase at a time. And then you want to simply position them, finding where each word starts and stops. Again, this is the manual way of doing it, where each one starts and stops, and then you break down into the different phonemes, and then you can simply manipulate the phonemes to get the mouth movements to match the words, because sometimes they like to hold on to a word a little bit longer. They don't have it where multiple syllable words are typically the hardest. If you've got 3 or 4, or say more syllables, they often don't say them all at the same kind of cadence. They're a little bit different, and you have to again go into the phonemes and then physically, you have to move those around just a little bit just to get the mouth movements to go match. And that's the basic process of getting that into the manual mode for doing this. But I also mentioned a different way. There's also something that is called which is called auto lyrics, which is a wonderful website which we do use. So over here, I'll put the link, or you guys can copy paste it here, autolyrics.bloodyphonetics.com. And it's simply, again, putting your lyrics into Notepad or to Word, something to that nature. And you're just going to simply copy it, and you're going to paste it right in here. And then you're going to select the MP3 file that you used to get that from. What was the chat? Oh, thank you, whoever put that in there. And then that in a few minutes is going to then spit you back an actual X-Lights lyric track that you can physically import. So all you would do for that, I will import one here. It won't be the right one, but I'm just going to import one just to show you how it works. You're just going to go on your timing tracks. You're going to right click. You're going to do import timing track. and find wherever you have them stored. We have them in our lyric tracks. This isn't the right one. We're just gonna pick one. We'll pick Monster. Boom. And it's simply, again, this isn't the right song, but it just shows you the process and the whole thing. This is what it spits you back all the top line of all the words. It then breaks down, or I'm sorry, all the phrases, all the words, and then all the phonemes. The software does that all by itself. What I found with this website is it's not perfect. It gets you pretty close, but there's still tweaking that is done. Couple things that I've seen is it's a lot of times will mistake the artist if they take a big inhale breath. It actually mistakes that for a word, and it'll make the word say breathe or breath, and that's not correct. So sometimes you have to proofread these things. You can't just assume it went in there. It gave you a perfect export of that lyric track. I have yet to find one that's been bang on. There's always been a little bit of tweaking, but it definitely saves me time. What I typically do is I commonly delete all the phonemes when I use that, and I double check the word placement. I typically have to manipulate those just a little bit because I'm a little bit anal about them to look right, and then I redo all of the phonemes. But they're typically pretty good. Most words you don't have to manipulate the phonemes. You just have to take those critical words where they have multiple syllables, or the artist hangs on to a portion of a word longer than the other part of the word, and you have to move around the mouth movements. Um, so those are some little, so that's basically the manual way of doing the lyric track. And then the auto lyrics, which are very helpful, but again, they're not perfect. You do have to go in there and you have to proof them. And depending upon how granular you want to get with getting those the mouth movements exactly on with the lyrics, they could use a little bit of manipulation here and there to get them just to be just right. Um, so any questions so far on just the basics of making a lyric track before I move on? You can unmute yourselves.
There was one question in the chat from James. How do I place down on my own phonemes manually directly?
So you can do that. How you do that is, let's say I want to, when you say manually put, like you want to change the mouth position from saying being the E to the AL. Is that kind of what your question is,
Can
James?
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes the mouth position, like maybe it's an L, but I really want an FV. And that'd be one. But sometimes I want to place down a phoneme like for reasons that are completely unrelated to music.
Yep. So what I found is that and this could just be a glitch or something I'm doing wrong, but I typically cannot. I found that if I just take this and double click it like you would a lyric track, you can't simply type in what the other phenome in because it doesn't work. I don't know why, but it doesn't. So what I typically do is I will say, okay, I don't want the either. I'm just gonna delete the one out of there, and I'll just take the one that I want, copy it, and Control V, paste it right in there. That's what I found works. Changing the text of it because this isn't exactly a word. It's like this line is actually a function. This is deriving a function out of the software, which is why I'm guessing you cannot just simply change I want this to be E. That doesn't work because you're not changing text. This is a function. So if you copy and paste one of the other phonemes, earlier on in the song, that tends to work fine. And we actually do a lot of that. And I'll explain why in a little bit. To answer your question?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm already doing. But because you have to have something to cut and paste to begin with, and I don't always have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how to yeah, because I've never had any luck changing the text in there. Because again, this is not you change text here, you change text here. This is the function that you're now having. It actually functions out of this if the X-Lights doesn't work off of time and track 1 or 2. It only makes the mouth movements off of the third level here. That's what manipulates it. So that's my only guess as to why you can't just change the text in here and change the phenome.
I
You may
wish
have
it
to
was a
pick a different
cyclical.
word. I'm sorry?
I wish that was a cyclical field instead of just a type in.
Yeah, it would be nice if it was a drop down. Yeah, maybe that's a future enhancement. Say, hey, I want to double click it, or have, hey, I want to change this, and give you a drop down.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've always typically, because had plenty to pick from, and we can always usually find it in there and just copy and paste it and manipulate it around. And I'll show you guys why in a little bit. We do some pretty hard manipulation of these things.
Hey,
Okay, if
hey,
not,
hey, Bob,
yes.
before we go to the next thing, maybe we didn't really get a good intro of VLS, Visionary Light Shows. Maybe do you have
We can
any
do that at the end.
promos or
No, we'll do that at the end.
do it? Okay.
We'll do that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, we've only got half hour left, and I want to leave some time for more questions here. I'm going to get into your phenome manipulation, James. I'm going to use that and explain. This was a completed lyric track that we did for the song, and we did some pretty heavy um, changing of the phenomes here. So this was a portion of the song in the refrain, um, where when X-Lights does, because again, you have many different singing props out there, and some may have 5 different positions of the mouth, others may have 7, some may have 3. So the software, when it spits back out the phenomes for the letters, it doesn't have all the positions, meaning to say you go from a word where you go from a small mouth position to a full open wide mouth position. The prop will oftentimes have kind of like a little middle of the mouth open, but it jumps from the small to the big, really big, like just like that, and it looks a little bit choppy. So we tend to copy and paste the phenome that kind of is in the middle of that to kind of get the mouth moves to be a bit more smooth. And I'll show you that right here. I'm not sure if there's going to be a lag on your guys' end, but so we play this. Actually, very quiet. You'll see, I'm going to play number 2 here and show you the difference. So this is one where I took the words, spread them out, but this one I just simply right click and I had X-Lights lay down the phenomes. I did not manipulate these whatsoever. And then I'll show you the ones where I did do a very heavy change of them. So make it play here. So this is the one without editing it. So that's one we see. So there's many times it's going from a very, very narrow or small mouth position to a very large open mouth position very, very rapidly. And it looks a little bit choppy. So if I replay it with the main singer of that same phrase and see how much smoother it looks. Everyone see the difference there? So on the particular singing prop we have, it has 4 different open mouth positions, one being just closed and then open, and then open all the way. So we were doing was just what James was mentioning was we simply enter in the phenomes in between the ones X-Lights already put down to get to the final sound that they're actually generating. We put in the other phenomes that actually get the mouth positions to be a little bit wider and a little bit wider, and then all the way open, so that you see basically animation. It makes it smoother. That's all we're doing. We're not changing the output. We're just kind of smoothing out the waves to get a much smoother effect. Again, this is how this one looks. Same thing. Looks a little bit choppy. And then when we put it on this guy, when you bridge those gaps to make every position of the mouth move like that, it gives it a much smoother appearance and doesn't look as choppy. It's insanely time consuming. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just what we like to do. Your end user, I don't think they're going to notice if it looks either way. It's just how we like to manipulate. We like to show them, so it just gets the mouth goes to be very, very, very smooth. Other tips and tricks are there's often times that a vibrato is hit by the singer, and that is just the simple oscillation in pitch that you normally hear at the very end of the note. I don't have a good singing voice. I'm not going to pretend to make one, but you've all heard very good singers hit that end of the word. Their voice oscillates a little bit. That is called vibrato. If I'm saying that wrong. And how we can simulate that is just by adding a shimmer inside of the phenome. So like on this one here, I'll slow it down so you can see it. But at the end, he has a little bit of vibrato right at the end of the word back. So you'll see his mouth shimmer just a little bit. Let me slow it down. That's probably not too slow to see that. Try that again. That's a really short shimmer. Let me just lengthen that one out so you can kind of see it a little bit. It won't match the song, but I'll show you the shimmer. So it's got a little bit of a shimmer in there, and that's to kind of capture the vibrato of it. And this, you just simply go into the phenome, and you can type this. You just hit, you put a dash, and you just type in the word shimmer. And then it's going to make that portion of the mouth flash really fast, to basically simulating the actual oscillating of the voice that you get from the singer. That okay. Sometimes you'll find that oh, maybe you have a hard word. This isn't really a lyric track thing. This is just a little enhancement thing that you can do to make your singer pop a little bit more. Is say he hits a really hard note. You know, you're out there singing hard. You really hit a hard note, hard key. You'll see the singer shut their eyes. Like, hey man, yeah, I hit that note really hard. You see them shut their eyes. You can just simply put a new again, this isn't a lyric track thing, this is more of a face thing, but you can put the same singing effect, but you just simply shut their eyes during that little brief moment where they're really hitting that note. It just gives the audience a bit of, man, this singing face is really pushing hard. Just a little cool, just a little thing, just to give your faces that little extra punch. You know, just it's always the small things that really make a difference. And then one last thing is sometimes you will import your lyrics and you will hit say, hey, I want to find the word that or some word, and you right click the word that or whatever word that doesn't exist, and you say break down word, and sometimes it won't give you the phenomes. Say, hey, you hit right click, break down word, and it gives you back nothing. Well, all that means is that word does not exist in the X dictionary. So helpful workaround. There's two ways to do it. One, you can do like James, and you can just simply place the phenomes there that you need to make the mouth movements, or you can pick a word that is similar in sound or that has similar positions of the mouth and put that word there, so that even though, because your audience doesn't know he's not saying the right word, you're just trying to get the mouth to function the same as the word that is not in the actual dictionary. It's maybe happened to us half a dozen times. It doesn't happen often, but it does occasionally. So either one of those ways is a very easy workaround to still get the mouth to move the way that you want it. So as far as lyric tracks, I mean, that's as complicated as they are. They're not difficult. They're just tedious is the main thing. I've always recommended learn it, how to do it manual the first time, so you understand how to do everything, and then start to use the auto lyrics, which we do find helpful, but it does have it's you have to monitor it and proofread it. It's not perfect. But it can definitely be a speed enhancing tool to pump out these lyric tracks, because they're not the fastest, but if you want to make them look right, you are going to put a little bit of time into them. You can't just go into auto lyrics, import the lyric track, and call it done. Rarely does that ever work out perfectly. There's always a little bit of stuff in there. You have to manipulate it. Again, it's not difficult. It's just tedious work to really make it look good. But that's what we're all trying to get here, is the most out of it that we possibly can. So with that, that's pretty much lyric tracks in a nutshell. Open the floor to any kind of questions you have.
There was a question out there. He said, would it make sense to create a separate track that you just paste in a string of whatever words needed in a result to get the different phonemes being generated?
Say that one more time. Oh, sorry. Would it make sense to create a separate track? You just paste in a string of phonemes. Sure, you can do that. Yeah, if you wanted to do that, and just so that you could just go back to that, say, just make a new track and have your different phonemes in it that you can, okay, I need to copy and paste this one here, this one there. Certainly, yeah, that could be done. As Robert said, it's just tedious. He's exactly correct. Yeah, it's not like lyric tracks are not the fastest thing in the world. So yeah, there's a little bit of patience you're going to have with them if you really want them to look good. But again, it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Chances are, if like with me going through and doing all the extra mouthfuls to get the smoothness of it versus what X-Lite spits out, your audience is not going to see that. It's mainly gonna be you. To answer your question. Any other questions? I know this was a lot.
I don't see any others in the chat.
Yep. James said, note that sometimes props can show facial expressions. You can do it. Yep, that's exactly correct. It had nothing to do with singing gasping. You can do it then too. Exactly. So once you know how to manipulate the phonemes and you know which each one is, which again, going back to what is it? What is a phenome? Or I always say phoneme. Sorry, I've been saying phenome forever. I know it's wrong. Phoneme. Remember, phoneme is just a mouth position associated with a certain sound that your mouth is making. That's all that you're doing. And Xlights has these pre-programmed into them. We won't get into the setup of your props because they're all different. But once they're set up, that's all you're doing is just simply what phoneme or mouth shape occurs at which sound in the song. So yeah, James is exactly correct.
Here's another question from Chris. What was a specific model of light bulb you used?
We have the Bascoyo 170. I think it's the 48-inch standing is the one that we use.
Oh, maybe he's talking
But
about your special eyes. Maybe talk about that, the Halloween eyes.
My the angry eyes. Not sure. Yes. So the angry eyes in my prop. Yes, that was something that we did. The normal Bascoyo 48-inch standing bulb, it does not have this. So we actually manipulated the model and actually I'll share this here. If I can zoom in close, you can see this. So I'll make this bigger so you can see a little bit better. There we go. So the original the squirrel bulb, which we like because we added the angry eyes because we didn't want to constantly have to switch out the singing props. So what we did was this bulb right here that my mouse is on, and this bulb right here do not exist on the prop as it comes from Biscoyo. We simply added this node, this node, this node, and this node, and made a new submodel and just called it Angry Eyes. So during Halloween, he gets the he had oh, I shouldn't have that so big now. Sorry about that. Like that. So at Halloween, he has that angrier, kind of sinister look. And then for Christmas, we go back to the typical round eyes that the prop has, and he looks happy again. That's all that is was 4 extra nodes that we added to the prop. Any other questions?
I don't see any. Let me check
Got
the
a couple
chat.
more minutes. I try to leave about 15 minutes or so for questions. Again, this is just our way that we like to do it. There's many different ways to do this. Uh, as long as you get like I always say, as long as you get the lights to do what you want them to do, no matter how you got there, that is going to be a win all day long. Don't be set out because Bob said do it this way or Carl said do it that way. Many different ways work. Things outside of just layer tracks, how you build your props, how you put them on your house, how you sequence. There's no right or wrong way. With wiring up controllers, yeah, there is a bit more you have to be dead on, otherwise you get the puff smoke, the magic smoke out of those things. But for a lot of the other stuff, it's not just one single way to do it. New message. Still have to watch this video. Yeah, there's a lot to lyrics, but once you start doing, like I said, I push the basics first. Learn how to do it from scratch, because then once you do choose to use the auto lyrics design, if you do, it's going to be that much simpler for you. Do you recommend Audacity to bring levels to the same MP3? I know that FP3 recently now, I believe, can do the normalizing. Sorry, we got Clem. Do you recommend Audacity to bring levels? I use Audacity to do it, but I believe Falcon Pi Player now has that ability as well. I have not tested it, but I believe it's there. But yeah, you definitely want to normalize your audio tracks. Otherwise, your listeners are going to turn up one because it's soft, and then the next one comes out and blows their eardrums off because it was not normalized or it starts to clip or whatever. So yeah, you always want to normalize it. I just don't know if it's on FPP. I haven't tested that yet, but I think the functionality is there. Can you do the same model with voice? Can you do the same model with voiceover? Is that it? Oh, sure. Yeah, an audio track is just you have to make the a musical track, a musical sequence, not an animation, but then that would just be the audio file you would actually select. So yeah, you can if you have, a show opening announcement or end of show announcement. Oh, sure. You would just see the audio and you would just simply break it down the same way that we did it, where you depends on how much text there is, how many words, if you just do it word by word, or you break it down into little phrases here and there. Oh, and I mentioned before, real quick, Keith taught me this one. Like when you put in text, when you want to import text, I got this all online, cleaned it up a little bit, but I basically organized it phrase by phrase by phrase to match how we have it broken down in the song. You don't want it just in a single paragraph. There's a very good reason for that, and I'll tell you why right now. Say I want to my other one, and we are going to we're going to add a timing track. Empty. Yep, we'll just call it empty, whatever. It's fine. Come on. There we go. Okay. So say we got getting some severe lag here. All right. So say we're gonna import all this text. Right? We have this song. Let's just import all this text. So hey, I don't want to go through Bob. I don't want to import all this text phrase by phrase. That's really tedious. I'm just gonna import it all at once. Okay. So you'll have your timing track. You're just gonna double click, and I'm gonna on my other screen, I'm gonna highlight the whole paragraph. Oops. I'm gonna highlight the whole paragraph just like that. See, I can just bring in all this text, right? Okay, sure. Let's go and do. Let's copy that. Let's hit paste, and boom. Hey, that's pretty cool. All your text is there, right? Don't be so quick to say yes. Once I do, remember what I said that when you break down a phrase, X lights evenly distributes all of the words between the two timing brackets. Say I'm going to let's go ahead and break down the phrases. Hang on, this gives it a what? Okay. Hey, that looks great, but you know what just happened now? you're going to have to manipulate every single position of all these things. Like if you drag down, you move down one, you move down two this way. Well, say you have a nice big lag in the song here. Well, now you're going to have to click and drag every single one of these words down to where they have to go. Like it does, because they're all now connected inside one single one. That's why you don't do it. You don't just bring in all your words at once, because then you're left with this mess. And you have to move every single one of these words around. And that is, no one's got time for that. That's why I like to go 10,000 foot view, 100-foot view, and then you get into the phonemes. So the 10,000 foot view is just listen to it at full speed and just add a new timing mark when a new phrase new phrase starts next. Just get that close. You don't have to get it exact, just get it close. Then once you get into your words, then you bring it in nice and tight. But again, you're just trying to limit how much word manipulation you have to do. What I mean by that is how much dragging around on these words do you need to do to get them close. If you did it like this, you'd be here for days. Versus you just do it phrase by phrase, you're just having to move little things here and there, because all these words, like Xlight says, hey, this is all spread out like that, when they actually look like, once you map them out, they actually map out like this. So it's not all evenly distributed. That's why I always say phrase by phrase has usually been the best experience. 1 minute. Any more questions? I don't see if I can't see if there's anything in chat here. Nothing in chat.
I don't see any either. If anybody has anything, just take yourself off mute and then just ask your questions so we don't miss
There is
anything.
if you check the code section on the website, we do have a 25% off all of our sequences right now for being part of the virtual summit. You'll find the code on the virtual summit webpage. That for now until September 1st, we have 25% off all of the sequences in our store. There's almost 80 in there to choose from. So hopefully you can find something that you like that would work out great on your shows. If nothing more, I thank everyone for your time and listening to me, and hopefully you got something out of this class. And this is all being recorded, so as they mentioned, you can watch this again and again and again. And if you have any questions on lyric tracks, feel free to reach out to myself, any one of the sequencers. Be happy to answer them for you. Just keep an open mind when it comes to X-Lights and this whole holiday lighting game. I can't push that enough, that there's very few things that have to be done in a certain way. Very few things. But beyond that, be flexible and realize there's many ways to skin a cat. There's certainly efficient ways and non-efficient ways, but I will stick to this forever. As long as the lights do what you want them to do and you are happy with it, it's a victory.
All
I
right.
think the last class of the day is as well.
Yep.
There's I think there's a little open forum or meeting room, I guess, next or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think room 1 is open up. Then Russell's finishing up his talk, but I think that's just a big hangout room. Then at that point, if people want to hang out.
Well, if there's nothing else, I definitely thank everyone for your time and enjoy.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.